Hello and welcome again to Dr. English channel. And today's lesson, we're going to focus on future. There are three ways, basically, we can talk about future, or we can refer to future events using either one of these structures. And the best of the most common way is using will. This is one of the modal verbs. Will, would, right? Like the other modals, like can, could, shall, should, right? May, might. We use would or we use will for future events. In order to refer to future events, like this example I gave, he will marry her. He will marry. All right? For example, I will go home after this class. I will go home after this class. I will go home. I'm not going home now. All right? But I will after this class. All right? So one of the structures to refer to future is to use the modal verb will. Okay? This is the easiest way, and I'm sure you have heard this, you have seen it in many texts, using will. But another way to say that, to refer to future events, is to use to be going to plus verb. Just like will. It means something similar to will. So we say, am, is, are, was, were. Then we use going to. Then we use the verb. Just like here, will plus verb. But instead of will, we use to be going to. And normally this part of going to is pronounced gonna in fast speech, right? For example, he's going to marry Mary, or her, he's gonna marry her. This is the fast speech, right? Nobody, they pronounce it this way. He's gonna marry her. He's gonna marry, not to. There is a to, but gonna includes also to. So when you say gonna, don't say to, okay? Well, that includes to too, but not be, am, is, are, was, were. Am, is, are, not was, were, actually. All right? So he's going to, or he's gonna marry Mary, okay? Well, later you may see another tense, which is present progressive tense, or continuous tense, actually, all right? Well, normally you have heard this, or you have used this tense in English to refer to the actions, the activities that we are doing right now, because this is the continuous tense, the present continuous tense, present progressive tense. For example, I'm talking to you, and I'm filming this. You're listening to me. You're sitting down in the class, all right? Or I'm walking now. Or I'm talking, and I'm teaching future tense to you in different forms or different structures, okay? So normally we use present continuous or present progressive tense to refer to the present moment, the continuous action that we are doing right now. But another use of present continuous tense is for future. In some circumstances or some situations, we use, like this example, I'm going out of town. It doesn't mean I'm going out of town right now. It means I will go out of town. It means that I'm referring to the future activity or action that I'm going to plan on, okay? But, well, let's get back to the first two examples here again. What's the difference between will and to be going to? There's a very, very slight difference. I said they're similar, but they're not the same. When you say will, it's 50-50 chance of that action happening. 50-50, all right? You can use other modals than will, like may, to reduce its chance of rain, for example. It may rain. It may rain means 30% chance of rain. It might rain, 20% chance of rain. But if you say it will rain, it means there's 50% chance of rain, right? 50 to 60%. But when you use to be going to, you increase that chance. You strengthen the scenario, all right? So he's going to marry. It means that they are engaged now. They're engaged, okay? If I say I'm going to fly to the U.S., I'm going to fly to the US, it means that I have a ticket in my pocket, or I've got the American visa so I can go to America. But if I don't, I may say, or I'd like to go to America, so I say I will fly to the US one day, all right? So it's just like that. So that's the slight difference between will, that modal verb, and to be going to, all right, for future. Well, now let's talk about or cover the other areas here. For will, how do we negate this sentence? How do we come up with the negative structure? We put not here, right? Will not, won't. The contracted form is won't. So he will marry her, he won't marry her. He will not marry her. And the question, so you put will at the beginning, that would be a question, right? Will he marry her? Yes, he will. No, he won't. But for this one, you have to put not after is, between is and going. So that would be, he isn't gonna marry her, Mary, for example. He isn't going to marry Mary. He isn't. Or the question form, is he gonna marry Mary? Is he going to marry Mary? Marry her? Yes, he is. No, he isn't. It's very simple, right? It's very easy to say that. Or we can make more complicated questions. These were yes or no questions. How about WS question words? We can start our question with WS question words. Like, for example, who is he going to marry? Who is he going to marry? The answer is Mary. Mary is going to marry Mary. Is going to marry her. Okay? Who? Mary. The answer is Mary. Who's going to marry Mary? He. David, for example. All right? Joseph, for example. Or another question, another example. What's he going to do? What's he going to do? He's going to marry. Marry is the, when you say what do, you refer to the action. You ask about the act, action, activity, the verb. What do? All right? So what's he going to do? He's going to marry her. He's going to marry her. What's he going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? It means that what are you planning to do? What are you going to do? For example, you're going to learn about future. You're going to refer to some books, some grammar books, some textbooks to learn more about future. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe.